Hello everyone, I want to welcome you to my complete guide on how to simulate a DDoS attack on Windows Vista using Metasploit within Kali Linux on VirtualBox. I'll also be using Wireshark to look at the data that we capture within the network. This video is going to cover everything from the first download link to the last bit of code you're going to write. Also, I want to quickly apologize. I know there's a big red screen or box in the middle of my screen, as well as the audio being poor. I know I'm aware of this. I had to download a free screen and audio recorder. Also, guys, I'll be adding the download links in the description below, so be sure to scroll down and download those before we start, as well as adding some timestamps to the video so you can surf through the video if you're already a step ahead. By the way, guys, my name is Patrick Serrano, and I'm a student at SFSU. Thank you, and I hope this video finds the right people, especially students, because this was a homework project for me, and I think I can help you guys out if you're struggling. So hang out, and let's do this.
Before we download VirtualBox, Kali Linux, and our Windows XP, if we've never used a virtual simulator before, we need to enable our virtualization settings within our BIOS screen. So if you need to do that, I had to do that because this was the first time I've done this. Pause the video here, and yeah, go ahead and do it. If not, then let's get into the next part.
Just want to mention real quick that before we download all these, I suggest that you guys create a new folder on your desktop screen so that we can organize our downloads, because we will need to be needing to get to Oracle, Kali, and this Windows XP later. The VirtualBox, you just have to click on it and open it and run it, and it'll install. But as for the other three, leave them be. But yeah, I do suggest making a folder so you know where they are.
Firstly, we're going to be downloading VirtualBox. Make sure to pick your right host. For us, we're going to be using the Windows. So we'll go ahead and click that. I already have them pre-downloaded, so I'm not going to click them. Also, for what we're going to be doing, we're going to need this extension pack. So the link that says all supported platforms, go ahead and download that one. Now that you've downloaded VirtualBox, there's a couple settings that we need to check and some that we need to change. So go ahead and go up to the top left to File, then Preferences. I'll just go through them with you guys just so we can look at them all and check that we have the same. This so much doesn't matter if you downloaded it and chose a different file, and yours is going to be different. This is a hotkey menu that you can change different shortcuts. All right, now onto network. This is what we're going to have to add. So over here, this green button with a plus sign says Adds New NAT Network. Go ahead and click that once and enable it. I already have one. I'm going to remove it. What this is doing is going to connect our Windows Vista and Kali Linux to each other so they can be on the same network. Now extensions. Earlier I was talking about that USB extension that we are going to have to use. So all you have to do is do Adds New Package, this blue with a green cross, and click the Oracle VM VirtualBox Extensions Pack. This is the link that will be in the description. and just press open. And as soon as you press open, it'll load in there, and just press OK. And it's as simple as that. That's all you have to do.
Testing. Secondly, we want to download Kali Linux. When we go onto the website, it's going to show the 2 links for Kali Linux VMware images. You don't want those. What you want to download is the one below it. It says Kali Linux VirtualBox images. Click on that and then download the Kali Linux VirtualBox 64-bit version, the one listed in red. Lastly, for the downloads, we're going to want to download the Windows XP Professional SP3 x86. Scroll down, and we're going to download the ISO image. It's on the right, 589.1M. You can see it. I know there is latency on the mouse. It's on the right side. So go ahead and click that. Don't exit out of this browser page because we will need this serial number later on. When you install this, it's going to ask you for the serial number. You're also going to want to download 7-zip. This is going to let you extract the Windows XP file later on. The link will be in the description below. Now that we have our downloads, we're going to create our first virtual machine, Kali Linux. Our first step is going to be clicking the File button in the top left. Then we're going to go down to the second one that says Import Appliance. And go ahead and click that. Then we're going to go to File. There's a File button on the right with a green arrow. Go ahead and click that. It says Choose a Virtual Appliance File to Import. Find your Kali download link, open it up in it, press next, import, right. After we get finished installing our Kali Linux, we want to click on the settings button, which is the yellow gear in the top middle. And we're going to go ahead and click on network, which is the 2 blue screens in the middle left of the screen. Okay, so earlier on in the video, we created a NAT network for our Kali Linux and Windows XP to connect to each other. This is what we're doing right here. Attached to NAT network, and go ahead, yours might not be selected, so go ahead and just click on the drop down and click on NAT network, and go ahead and press OK and press start. It's all right. Go ahead and close out of these at the top. So the password here and username is Kali. And now we're loaded inside of Kali. So we're going to go ahead and download Windows XP now, and then we'll hop back to Kali in a sec. When you guys have the Windows XP download, before you can do anything with it, go ahead and create a new folder and place the Windows inside of it and extract by going to 7-zip and extract here. let everything download. Don't touch anything. We're going to be using this link later on. And it's finished. All right. So now that we've just extracted all the files, let's go ahead and go back to VirtualBox and go to the top in the middle that says New, the blue icon. Go ahead and name it Windows XP. I'm going to name mine Demo, and it should automatically find the version as it says Windows XP 32-bit. Click Next. Oh, I already have the same name. Okay. And then go ahead and change it from 192 to 1024. Click Next. Create a virtual hard disk now is fine. Create VDI, virtual box disk image is fine. Dynamically allocated is what we want. Go ahead and press Create. Create. All right. So now that it's created, it's just a blank shell. So we're going to go into our settings, the yellow gear icon at the top. Go ahead and go to storage. The disk is empty. So go ahead and click on it. Then there's a blue disk over here on the right. Click on that and click choose create a virtual optical disk. And add your disk. Okay. We actually want to go back to the settings, and our NAT network, we want to change it to NAT network from NAT. And make sure that you enable it in the dropdown because it might not be enabled for you guys. Press OK and go ahead and press Start. Okay, so it says, please select, just press Start. You can exit out of these. And now we're just going to be waiting for just a second. All right. So let's exit out of this real quick. We're going to want to press Enter. Press F8. Then press Enter. Press Enter. And now it's going to be downloading. Right, so this is what the next screen looks like. If your full name and organization, this really doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the product key. Go back to your browser page that you had the product key on with the link for the Windows XP file. If you close out of it, you can go to the link in the description below, and it's right on the left side of the screen, very easy to find, and just go ahead and type that in. All right, so here we're going to be entering the serial key. So right here, you're just creating a password for yourself. I would just suggest typing Kali as a password because Kali is going to be a password for pretty much everything within this. Create a password, really doesn't matter what you choose. Okay, that should have already been fine. And then I'll come back to you guys when this is downloaded. Oh, never mind, there's some more settings, so never mind. Let me just sit here. Typical settings is fine. Just leave it as no. All right, after Windows Vista has finished installing, this is what it's going to look like on the desktop. The first thing we're going to do is open up our command prompt. If your command prompt isn't there, go to the Run button and type in CMD, press enter. So our first command we're going to enter is ipconfig. And this is going to tell us our IP address. We're checking to see if Kali and Windows Vista has two different ones. So now we're going to go into Kali. And we're going to go ahead and open the command prompt for Kali. It's called the terminal emulator in the top left. So Kali doesn't recognize ipconfig. So what we have to do is type /SBIN/IFCONFIG. All right, and if you can see here on iNet, so we have two different IP addresses. We have the 10.0.2.15 as well as 10.0.2.6. So our next thing here that we want to do is see if they can communicate with each other. So type ping 10.0.2.15 and hit Control-C to stop it. All right, so we got some replies and we have 0% loss, which is great. If you have 100% loss, that means that your Kali and Windows Vista isn't communicating with each other. So if you don't have two different IP addresses, go ahead and press the start in the bottom left. Click on Control Panel. Then we're going to head to Network and Internet Connections. Go to Network Connections. It's a globe with a plug. We're going to click on the Local Area Connection. Right-click on it and click on its properties. Then find Internet Protocol. Click on Properties for that as well. And now we're going to manually set an IP address so we can make a different one so we can communicate with each other. So in here, just type 10. That subnet mask should autofill. For your default gateway, go ahead and do 10.0.2.2 and then go ahead and just press OK. Mine's already set. I'm going to go ahead and press cancel. And then after that, you can go ahead and test it again to see if it works. And again, Control-C stops the pinging. All right, and let's go ahead and head into Kali. All right, so now that our pings are communicating with each other, well, let's check on here as well, so we can actually ping the other one. All right, and this one has 0% loss as well, so we're good to go. The first thing we want to do before you enter the Metasploit console is to give ourselves a sudo permission. So type sudo su press enter, and it's just going to be Kali. And now you're in. If you don't want to set the password every single time, you can actually type this as well. All right. So yeah, you can enable passwordless privilege. So now you never have to enter the password again when you type sudo su. So now that we know that our two networks are communicating, let's just go ahead and clear this. Now we can go ahead and log into our Metasploit. So type msf console. And wait a second, and it'll load up. All right. So we're inside of Metasploit. Metasploit has 1,096 auxiliaries, and one of the auxiliaries is called SynFlood, which we're going to be using, and we're going to want to find that. So the first command we're going to type is search SynFlood. Now, since we found it, we're going to type use auxiliary DOS TCP SynFlood. And let's see if we're able to show options. All right, we are. So down here, firstly we have the interface. This lets you give a name to the victim that you're attacking, which isn't required. Num is how many packets we're going to send. Our host is where we want to attack. That's going to be the IP address. Our port is exactly what port we're going to want to attack on. S-host is pretty cool. You can change your identification. So if you were attacking, you wouldn't be identified as yourself. So the first thing we're going to do is type set our hosts. And mine is 10.0.2.6. This is going to be the IP address of your Windows Vista. Then we're going to set the R port to 135. We're going to set the number of packets to 10,000. And now all we have to do is type exploit. Well, first let's type show options and double check to see if it saved, which it did. And now we can type exploit. Sorry, before we do that, actually, we need to load Wireshark. And before we run exploit, we're going to click this fin right here to start capturing the packets. And now we're going to type exploit. And we can see the source. So that's where it's coming from, which is us. We can see the destination, where it's going. And we could also see the port right here, the port that we selected. So all of this information is going to what we selected. And that is all you have to do to simulate a denial of service attack within Kali Linux. All right, I hope this helped you guys out, and thanks for watching. Another thing that we can look at is notice that the CPU is only running about 1 to 5%. And then notice when we exploit, send our DDoS attack, the spike that happens in the central processing unit. And this happens every time you send the command, because you're sending so much information. All right, well, that wraps it up. Thank you, guys. I hope this video was helpful to anyone who was confused or lost. Thank you, and have a nice day.